This is Thunderhead Pictures Podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and everywhere else that you get your podcasts at. Thank you for listening. This is Thunderhead Pictures podcast by Joedog. 1 minute. Let me make sure this is running. Okay, I think we're all set for the show. And Newsmax.com has some breaking news, of course. House Democrats pass Biden's spending bill, waits his signature. Oh, that's stupid of them. They're really gonna make us go more debt. This news article is done on Saturday, 13th of August, 2022 at 7:45 a.m. Eastern District Time. A divided Congress gave final approval Friday to Democrats' flagship climate and health care bill, handing President Joe Biden a back-from-the-dead triumph on coveted priorities that the party hopes will bolster their prospects for keeping their House and Senate majorities in November's elections. Yeah, but that will probably ruin the country more than help it. The House used a party line 220 to 107 vote to pass the legislation. Prompted hugs among Democrats on the House floor and cheers by the White House staff watching on television. Today, the American people... I should say this better. Quote, today the American people won. Yeah, right. You won, you stupid Democrats. Oh, never mind. That wasn't part of the quote. The quote is, today the American people won. Special interests lost. Unquote. That's really stupid of them. Forcing people, thinking the people won. Yeah, right. You guys won the stupid election. We didn't even vote for the bill at all. So how do we win? Treated the vaccinating Biden, who was shown beaming in a White House photo as he watched the vote on TV from Kawana Island, South Carolina. He said he would sign the legislation next week. The measure is but a shadow of a larger, more ambitious plan to supercharge environment and social programs that Biden and his party unveiled early last year. Even so, Democrats happily declare victory on top-tier goals like providing Congress' largest ever investment in curbing carbon emissions, reining in pharmaceuticals costs, and taxing large companies, hoping to show they can wring accomplishments from rotary gridlock. Washington that often delusions voters. Quote, today is a day of celebration, a day we take another giant step in our momentous agenda, unquote, said House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat California, who minutes later announced the final vote as she presided over the chamber. She said the measure, quote, meets the moment, ensuring that our families thrive and that our planet survives, unquote. The planet doesn't survive because of you. God controls the environment. He can do anything he wants. He can also destroy it if he wanted to. Sheesh. Republicans silently oppose the legislation, calling it cornucopia of wasteful liberal daydreams that would raise taxes and families' living costs. They did the same Sunday, but Senate Democrats banded together and used Vice President Kamala Harris' tie-breaking vote to power the measure through that 50 to 50 chamber. That's what the vice president is not allowed to vote in the Senate, idiots. Quote, Democrats, more than any other majority in history, are addicted to spending other people's money, regardless of what we as a country can afford, unquote, said House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Republican California. I can almost see glee in their eyes, unquote. Biden's initial 10-year $3.5 trillion proposal also envisioned free pre-kindergarten, paid family and medical leave, expanded Medicare benefits, and eased immigration restrictions that crashed after centrist Senate Joe Manchin, Democrats of West Virginia, said it was too costly using the leverage every Democrat has in their evenly divided Senate. And if you want to read the rest of the article, you could go on newsback.com slash, I think it's / if I'm not mistaken, politics / Congress spending bill Democrats / 2022 / 08 / 13 / IDs / 1082949 / Sorry about the link. If you want to email me, I do have a business email thing that's thunderheadpictures@gmail.com. There is 14 books on the Wizard of Oz. The Oz has a series, so I'm gonna see if I can get read the Constitution here. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Article 1, Section 1, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. Section 2, the House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requested for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitor of that state in which he shall be chosen. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included within this union according to their representative numbers, which shall be determined by adding the whole number of free persons. Some of these looks like they're been added on their archives. Persons, including those bound to service for a term of years and excluding Indians not taxed 3/5 of all other persons. The actual immigration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall by law direct. The number of representatives shall not exceed one for every 30,000, but each state should have at least one representative, and until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence petitions 1, Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. When vacancies happen in the representation from any state, the executive authority thereof shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. The House of Representatives shall choose their speaker and other officers, and shall have the sole power of impeachment. Section 3. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years, and each Senate shall have 1 vote. Senator should have 1 vote. Man. Immediately after they shall be assembled in consequences of the first election, they shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The seats of the senators of the first class shall be vacant at the expiration of the second year, of the second class of the expiration of the 4th year, and the third class of the expiration of the 6th year, so that 1/3 may be chosen every second year. And if the vacancies happen by resignation or otherwise during the recess of the legislature of any state, the executive thereof may make temporary appointments until the next meeting of the legislature, which shall then fill such vacancies. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote. Shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. Unless they be equally divided. The Senate shall choose their officers, and also a president pro tempore in the absence of the vice president, or when he shall exercise the office of President of the United States. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to remove from office and disqualifications to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States, but the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to the law. Section 4. The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislative thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations, except as to the places of choosing senators. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meetings shall be on the first Monday in December, unless they shall by law appoint a different date. Section 5. Each house shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own members, and majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business, but a smaller number may adjourn from day to day and may be authorized to compel the attendance of absent members in such manner and under such penalties as each house may provide. Each house may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3 expel a member. Each house shall keep a journal of its proceedings, and from time to time publish the same, accepting such parts as may in their judgment require secrecy, and the yeas and nays of the members of either house on any question shall, at the desire of 1/5 of those present, be entered on the journal. Neither house during the sessions of Congress shall, without consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that in which the two houses shall be sitting. Section 6. The senators and representatives shall receive the compensation for their services to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall, in all cases, accept let me say that again. They shall, in all cases, except treason, felony, and breach of the peace by privilege from arrest during their attendance of the session of their representative houses, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in any other place. No senator or representative shall, during the time for which he was elected, be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the United States, which shall have been created, or the emoluments whereof shall have been increased during such time, and no person holding any office under the United States shall be a member of either house during his continuance in office. Section 7. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments as on other bills. Every bill which shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it become a law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approve, he shall sign it, but if not, he shall return it with his objections to that house in which it shall have originated, who shall enter the objections at large on their journal and proceed to consider it. If after such reconsideration 2/3 of the House shall agree to pass the bill, it shall be sent together with the objections to the other house, by which it shall likewise be reconsidered, and if approved by 2/3 of that house, it shall become law. But in such cases, the votes of both houses shall be determined by yeas and nays, and the names of the persons voting for the for and against the bill shall be entered on the journal of each house respectively. If any bill should not be returned by the president within 10 days, Sundays accepted, after it shall have been presented to him, the same shall be a law in like manner as if he had signed it, unless the Congress by their adjournment prevent its return, in which case it shall not be a law. Every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate and House of Representatives may be necessary, except on a question of adjournment, shall be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him, or being disapproved by him, shall be passed by 2/3 of the Senate and the House of Representatives, according to the rules of limitations prescribed in the case of a bill. And I will read Section 8 later. We are running out of time here. And I think I'm going to be running out of, I'm getting close to 30 minutes, so I have to go to the next segment. Story time, story time, story time. Brought to you by Joedog. This book is in the public domain. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, Unabridged by Frank Baum. Well, gentlemen and ladies, I was going to tell you all the books, 14 books that are originally in the original books, not the other ones that other authors made. So, I'm not going to say the book numbers, but The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, The Marvelous Land of Oz, Ozma of Oz, Dorothy and the Wizard in Oz, The Road to Oz, The Emerald City of Oz, The Patchwork Girl of Oz, Tick-Tock of Oz, The Scarecrow of Oz, Rink It Tink in Oz, The Lost Princess of Oz, The Tin Woodman of Oz, The Magic of Oz, Glinda of Oz, and that's it. That's all 14 books. Okay, now we're going to read the chapter that we're supposed to be reading. Chapter 5, The Rescue of the Tin Woodman. When Dorothy awoke, the sun was shining through the trees, and Toto had long been out chasing birds and squirrels. She sat up and looked around her. There was the Scarecrow still standing patiently in his corner, waiting. "We must go and search for water," she said. "Why do you want water?" he asked. "To wash my face clean after the dust of the road, and to drink so the dry bread will not stick in my throat." "It must be inconvenient to be made of flesh," said the Scarecrow thoughtfully, "for you must sleep and eat and drink. However, you have brains, and it is worth a lot to think properly." They left the cottage and walked through the trees until they found a little spring of clear water, where Dorothy drank and bathed and ate her breakfast. She saw there was not much bread left in the basket, and the girl was thankful the Scarecrow did not have to eat anything, for there was scarcely enough for herself and Toto for the day. When she had finished her meal and was about to go back to the road of yellow brick, she was startled to hear a deep groan nearby. "What was that?" she asked timidly. "I can't imagine," replied the Scarecrow, "but we can go and see." Just then another groan. no, I can't do it, reached their ears, and the sound seemed to come from behind them. They turned and walked through the forest a few steps, and Dorothy discovered something shining in the ray of sunshine that fell between the trees. She ran to the place and then stopped short with a cry of surprise. One of the big trees had been partly chopped through, and standing beside it, with an uplifted axe in his hands, was a man made entirely of tin. His head and arms and legs were jointed upon his body, but he stood perfectly motionless, as if he could not stir at all. Dorothy looked at him in amazement, and so did the Scarecrow, while Toto barked sharply, "Woof, woof, 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 woof," and made a snap at the tin legs, which hurt his teeth. "Did you groan?" asked Dorothy. "Yes," asked the Tin Man. Answered the Tin Man. I did. I've been groaning for more than a year, and no one has ever heard me before or come to help me. "What can I do for you?" she inquired softly, for she was moved by the sad voice in which the man spoke. "Get an oil can and oil my joints," he answered. "They are rusted so badly that I cannot move them at all. If I am well oiled, I shall soon be all right again. You will find an oil can on a shelf in my cottage." Dorothy at once ran back to the cottage and found the oil can, and then she returned and asked anxiously, "Where are your joints?" "Oil my neck first," replied the Tin Woodman. So she oiled it, and as it was quite badly rusted, the Scarecrow took hold of the tin head and moved it gently from side to side until it worked freely, and then the tin head, and then the man could turn it himself. "Now oil the joints in my arms," he said, and Dorothy oiled them, and the Scarecrow bent them carefully until they were quite free from rust and as good as new. The Tin Woodman gave a sigh of satisfaction and lowered his axe, which he leaned against the tree. "This is a great comfort," he said. "I have been holding that axe in the air ever since I rusted, and I'm glad to be able to put it down at last. Now, if you will oil the joints of my legs, I shall be all right once more." So they oiled his legs until he could move them freely. He thanked them again and again for his release. For he seemed a very polite creature and very grateful. "I might have stood there always if you had not come along," he said. "So you have certainly saved my life. How did you happen to be here?" "We are on our way to the Emerald City to see the Great Wizard. The Great Odds," she answered. "And we stopped at your cottage to pass the night." "Why do you wish to see Oz?" he asked. "I want him to send me back to Kansas. Sorry. I want him to send me back to Kansas, and the Scarecrow wants him to put a few brains into his head," she replied. The Tin Woodman appeared to think deeply for a moment. Then he said, "Do you suppose Oz could give me a hunt?" "Why, I guess so," Dorothy answered. "It would be as easy as to give the Scarecrow brains." "True," the Tin Man returned. "So if you will allow me to join your party, I will also go to the Emerald City and ask Oz to help me. Come along, said the Scarecrow heartily, and Dorothy added that she would be pleased to have his company, so the Tin Woodman shuddered his axe. Oh, shouldered his axe, not shuddered. Man, I'm losing it. And they all passed through the forest until they came to the road that was paved with yellow brick. The Tin Woodman had asked Dorothy to put the oil can in her basket, for he said, if I shall get caught in the rain and rust again, I would need the oil can badly. It was a bit of good luck to have their new comrade join the party, for soon after they had begun the journey again, they came to a place where the trees and branches were so thick over the road that travelers could not pass, but the Tin Woodman set to work with his axe and chopped so well that soon he cleared a passage for the entire party. Dorothy was thinking so earnestly as they walked along that she did not notice when the Scarecrow stumbled into a hole and rolled over on the side of the road. Indeed, he was obligated to call to her to help him up again. Why didn't you walk around the hole? Asked the Tin Woodman. I don't know enough, replied the Scarecrow cheerfully. My head is stuffed with straw, you know, and that is why I am going to Oz to ask him for some brains. Oh, I see, said the Tin Woodman. But after all, brains are not the best things in the world. Have you any? Inquired the Scarecrow. No, my head is quite empty, answered the Woodman. But once I had brains and a heart also, so having tried them both, I should much rather have a heart. And why is that? Asked the Scarecrow. I will tell you my story, and then you will know. So while they were walking through the forest, the Tin Woodman told the following story. I was born the son of a woodman who chopped down trees in the forest and sold the wood for a living. When I grew up, I too became a wood chopper, and after my father died, I took care of my old mother as long as she lived. Then I made up my mind that instead of living alone, I would marry so that I might not become lonely. There was one of the Munchkin girls who was so beautiful that I soon grew to love her with all my heart. She, on her part, promised to marry me as soon as I could earn enough money to build a better house for her. So I set to work harder than ever, but the girl lived with an old woman who did not want her to marry anyone, for she was so lazy. She wished the girl to remain with her and do the cooking and the housework. So the old woman went to the Wicked Witch of the East and promised her 2 sheep and a cow if she would prevent the marriage. Thereupon the Wicked Witch enchanted my axe, and when I was chopping away at my best one day, for I was anxious to get the new house and my wife as soon as possible, the axe slipped all at once and cut off my left leg. This at first seemed a great misfortune, for I knew a one-legged man could not do very well as a chopper. So I went to a tinsmith and had him make me a new leg out of tin. The leg worked very well once I was used to it, but my action angered the Wicked Witch of the East, for she had promised the old woman I should not marry the pretty Munchkin girl. When I began chopping again, my axe slipped and cut off my right leg again. I went to the tinner, and again he made me a leg out of tin. After this, the chanted axe cut off my arms, one after the other. But nothing daunted, I would had them replaced with tin once tin ones. The wicked witch then made the axe slip and cut off my head, and at first I thought that was the end of me, but the tinner happened to come along and he made me a new head of tin. I thought I had beaten the wicked witch then, and I worked harder than ever, but I little knew how cruel my enemy could be. She thought of a new way to kill my love for the beautiful Munchkin maiden and made my axe slip again so that it cut right through my body, splitting me into two halves. Once more the tenor came to my help and made me a body of tin, fastening my 10 arms and legs and head to it by means of joints, so that I could move around as well as ever. But alas, I had now no heart, so that I lost all my love for the Munchkin girl, and did not care whether I married her or not. I suppose she is still living with the old woman, waiting for me to come after her. My body shone so brightly in the sun that I felt very proud of it, and it did not matter now if my axe slipped, for it could not cut me. There was only one danger, that my joints would rust, but I kept an oil can in my cottage and took care to oil myself whenever I needed it. However, there came a day when I forgot to do this, and being caught in the rainstorm before I thought of the danger, my joints had rusted, and I was left to stand in the woods until you came to help me. It was a terrible thing to undergo, but during the year I stood there, I had time to think that the greatest loss I had known was the loss of my heart. While I was in love, I was the happiest man on earth, but no one can love who has not a heart, and so I am resolved to ask Oz to give me one. If he does, I will go back to the Munchkin maiden and marry her. But both Dorothy and the Scarecrow had been greatly interested in the story of the 10 Woodmen, and now they knew why he was so anxious to get a new heart. All the same, said the Scarecrow, I shall ask for brains instead of a heart, for a fool would not know what to do with a heart if he had one. I shall take the heart, returned the 10 Woodmen, for brains do not make one happy, and happiness is the best thing in the world. Dorothy did not say anything, for she was puzzled to know which of her two friends was right. She decided if she could only get back to Kansas and Aunt Em, it did not matter so much whether the Woodman had no brains and the Scarecrow no heart, or each got what he wanted. What worried her most was that the bread was nearly gone, and another meal for herself and Toto would empty the basket. To be sure, neither the Woodman nor the Scarecrow ever ate anything, but she was not made of tin nor straw and could not live unless she was fed. That was the end of Chapter 5 of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Unabridged by L. Frank Baum, or Baum. I think it might be pronounced Baum. Sorry if you had that name that's spelled Baum. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, sorry. Okay. You can subscribe to, or join me, whatever, on Android users. You can subscribe to me on Google Podcasts or Spotify. On Android, on Apple users, you can on Apple Podcasts. On Kindle users, you can listen to me on Audible's podcast. I am Joedog, and I'm gonna give you. You've been caught in the storm. Please listen and support me from the support link on the description and episode description. Take care, you guys and girls. Bye-bye. Sorry about going, but this is the end of Thunderhead Pictures Podcast. You've been caught in the storm. Come back next week to enjoy the next episode. You can support this episode right in the support link in the description of this episode or the description of the show itself. Support might end if we want to play music. So stay tuned to the episodes to know when that is. Okay, we are going off the air. You've been caught in the storm again. Aha!